All right, this is Mike Dean with the Rise Share Report, and I'm here at the SFO TNC staging lot, and there's a huge turnout with drivers that are in protest of the most recent fare cuts that have cut across 80 cities. Now, I was just down at the on Market Street. There was a small protest down on Market Street, but it looks like this is where it's happening. Because I'm looking literally behind me of at least 100 drivers or so. I'm looking at least of about 100 drivers. As you can hear.
Turn it up, turn it up, turn it up.
As you can hear, they're chanting to the other drivers in support to turn their apps off. So that seems to be what the move is here, is to shut down, lock it up, and let Uber know, I guess, that drivers are done. They're fed up. I'm gonna shut it down for a second. Let's go interview and talk to a few fellas and get some of the responses. As you can see, there are a couple of guys standing out here in the front, just giving drivers a heads up, letting them know to go offline, to in a sense boycott for now, until there can be a discussion at the table. So are your apps off by any chance?
Yes.
Everybody that's here, pretty much, their apps are off?
Yes.
We got more drivers coming in. The TNC lot is the most highly concentrated area of Uber drivers anywhere from the South Bay up to the North Bay. So if there's any place to have an effective conversation or organize, it's definitely going to be here, right, guys?
Yes.
I mean, this, I come up here a lot. This is like a community. It becomes like a family. And I come out here just to check out, just to chat with drivers and get their feedback. I want to thank you guys once again for, my pleasure. Good luck, fellas.
Thank you.
We got more drivers coming into the lot and potentially more drivers turning off the app. So,
Cooperate with each other, man. Let's cooperate, man.
we've got a lot of guys out here. We've got a lot of guys and girls and drivers in general.
YouTube!
We have a lot of people out here sharing their frustration and wanting change. So again, I'm here. As you can see, there's a huge freaking turnout of drivers that are chanting to all the drivers that are coming in to kind of lock down the app, turn off the app, go offline. And I'm here with, I think it's Mario.
Mario, yes.
Mario, tell me exactly what's going on here today.
Well, we're all just standing up, for our rights. We want to be paid fairly, and we are being paid really underneath minimum wage. After you do the math, new drivers now are paying 30%. Drivers have been with the company for 9 to 10 months, paying 25. I've been with the company for 3 years. One of the first drivers, and they're taking 20% from me. They sometimes send you 14 miles out the way to go pick up somebody just to take them 3 blocks away. It's not fair. So I'm hearing all these complaints from the drivers.
Mario, I got to ask you a question because I'm a bit confused, right? So I was reading some information. According to some Uber scientists and analytics and data, I've seen some charts. When the fares go down, drivers make more money. I mean, is that your experience?
Well, the best answer to that is, people, is that your experience?
No!
So when the fares go down, do you guys make more money?
No!
So I mean, Uber says that you guys make more money. What's
Uber makes more money.
More money.
Uber said, if you take the pools, you make more money. I had 3 people from the airport to the city, Panhandle, Embarcadero, and the hotel. 45 minutes. I made $61. 3 people. I make 38 if I have 1. Is that making more money?
Yeah.
And $61. I only get probably 40 of that, plus my burning my gas, and my hemorrhoids are not doing any good.
So I just got it, guys. Because I just want to get this for general consensus. I'm going to ask you all one more time. When the fares go down, in your experience, are you making more money?
Uber makes more money regardless.
Tell Uber to come here and prove that.
We are the runners, so to drop the price, they increase the number of. Obviously, everyone will ask, request a cheap ride. A cheap ride. How does cheap means more money? This is a contradiction.
The Uber get the 25%, same money, just we are less than money.
I want to tell Uber this, is that I want to talk to someone there in the company. I want to, not only do I represent the drivers as a driver, but I also want to mediate in between both parties, be sort of the peacemaker in between both parties, including myself.
So now I would imagine that you guys, the last thing you want to do is disrupt the service and disrupt your job, which is to serve your passengers. But apparently you're feeling that you've been pushed to the limit.
Exactly.
There's been a number of fare cuts. It seems like every January since 2013, I believe.
Correct.
And obviously those fare cuts, according to you guys, are not putting more money in your pocket. You're earning less.
We're losing money.
Now let me ask you a
paying to
question.
work.
Let me ask you another question, if I may. I've been hearing from a lot of Uber drivers, just in general, that they're done and they're moving over to Lyft, which has almost half the market share here in San Francisco, at least. Anybody else considering an exodus?
No.
And you want to stick to your Uber?
Of course.
Okay,
That's
so
what we're fighting.
okay, so you're not fighting
stay
for
loyal to them.
who you're driving for. You're fighting for your
rights.
I got it.
Everyone here is fighting for the right.
That's it.
Everyone here has kids, family, wives. We work for them. I want to go home and letting my family know that I work for them. I made some money. Not I lost some money. For God's sake. Can you imagine going home? Like, how much did you make? I put $50 gas. At the end of the day, I make $62.
Anybody here from the
10
South Bay?
hours.
Anybody here from the
10
South Bay?
hours, for God's sake.
So, are we all San Francisco fares and rates here? Most, some mixed, because the South Bay had a South Bay had a 15% decrease 6 months ago, and just took another one.
And
So
as
those
you can see, we're all one voice. One voice.
Message for Travis. Message for Travis. Travis, we want to talk. We don't want to fight. We want to talk, civilize, and resolve this. And we just want to get paid fairly, just as the same as you would want to get paid. Let's talk.
Now,
Civilize.
let me
Let's
ask
have
you
a
this.
meeting.
There was
Set
a
it up.
protest several months ago from a guy called Abe Hussein. Anybody familiar with
Yes,
Abe?
that's the guy on
Okay,
Facebook.
now
yeah.
Abe had a lot of demands, and they weren't taken too serious because they weren't really realistic,
Right.
because they were just a demand based on base time and distance and minimum fare, and it can't apply to all markets. But do you guys think that you should be sitting down to negotiate what is fair for you here
I
and at
believe
least
so.
your market?
100%, I believe so. As long as Travis is willing to sit down and talk and say, let's meet halfway. Let's somehow work things out so that the drivers are happy, we're still making money, Uber is still making money, everybody's happy, and people are dying to go back to work because they want to make money. We're sitting here, we're doing this here because we're not going to tolerate it no more. We came to the point where we're not going to tolerate it no more.
Now, let me ask you a
But
question.
we all want to work.
Right. Let me ask you a question.
Nobody here is lazy. Everybody's
Just
here.
one more thing,
Rather
you know-
than at home on their sofas, they're here because they want to work.
And Mario,
They wanna
one
make
more
money.
thing. Okay, so basically, let's say just today, we want to have the passengers have a taste of taking a taxi from airport to downtown and pay $90. Then we will talk about that. Let them pay $90 because we're taking them for $17 to downtown. How fair is that?
I see a half an hour wait time at the airport. I believe it's going to go up to an hour after so many drivers, and I got a list of 1,000 people just there on Market Street where another driver just collected names. So I think this is already affecting Uber. I think it's better for us just to sit down and
Has
talk
anybody
like
seen if it's
civilized
surging here at the airport? I know.
We'll do it.
Let me ask you a question. I've heard that it surges sometimes, but the driver doesn't see the surge fare.
Exactly. So basically, here's what happens. I see surging on my screen. Okay, guys, hold on.
Hold on 1 second, guys. 1 second.
So hold on, guys.
Hold on 1 second, guys. 1 second.
Hey, one voice.
Right, go ahead.
So basically, I see surging says 2 times, 3 times on my screen. Believe it or not, by the time I get there, it just disappears. And it only shows on my phone because they need a crowd of Uber drivers in that certain area where there's no Uber. They just pull us like dogs. They run there trying to fake a bone, Just like a dog, you know, you throw.
So are you
throw a
suggesting
treat.
that those fares are being
Completely
those,
fake.
Okay, those are
fake.
those are fake zones.
Absolutely.
You shoot the surge pricing in a certain area. As soon as you get there, it goes off.
disappears.
And they're like, oh, all of a sudden, 20 drivers appeared in that area in less than 5 minutes.
And
One more
plus-
important
and plus
question, guys.
They say that they tell all the passengers that tip is included. What?
We've
Guys,
never seen
have
tip.
you seen a face of
Has
tip?
anybody seen
A
it?
dime of tip.
Nobody said it.
And
Nobody.
plus, on top of that,
So do you find that your passengers are under the impression that tips are
tip is
included?
included.
Our tips is the stars, but also sometimes they don't give you a star because you do a good job sometimes, but that's we shouldn't talk about it. But
The rating system doesn't even. The rating system. Another thing, the rating system doesn't mean anything in Uber.
It's an Uber. They're doing
I see a passenger with the rating of 2.7 stars. 2.7 stars. That should tell me a lot that this is not a safe ride. I shouldn't go and pick up that person because he has been rated really down. But if I don't accept that, the next day Uber sends me an email saying that, hey, you have been flagged for not accepting a passenger. I mean, how does that? They don't care obviously about my safety. You know, my life is first. Then
Let me ask you guys a question. While Uber's the one that sets the fares and the rates and the policies and the terms and conditions, Uber sets the rates, the fares, and the terms and the conditions. And there is some regulation coming from the California Public Utilities Commission. And I know it seems like a lot of drivers are voicing their anger towards Uber. But does anyone ever consider that, you know, there are those that govern, those that serve to protect, such as your city and state local representatives, maybe your mayor, or even the California Public Utilities Commission, that they should be getting a piece of your grievance for not doing their job?
CPUC? Yeah.
Well, just anybody. I mean, you know, the idea is that people protest
CPUC
against Uber instead of the government. So, I mean, what do you feel about that?
I believe.
What are you talking about?
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I just say I believe. I actually know one of the board members for California Public Utilities. I played basketball with him at the YMCA on Embarcadero, and he told, you know, from what my experience is that it's something that's becoming a nuisance even with them. I think they want to resolve the situation so that everybody's happy. But as far as getting a cut or getting some kind of pay, I think the system is pretty much self-explanatory as far as how it differs from taxis and TCP, you know, limousines. So that does make sense, and it is a ride share, so it doesn't exactly fall underneath
Those regulations.
Yes, yes.
So does anyone here think that the fares should be regulated to some degree?
I think there might be.
or this
there
should
has to be
just-
some
yeah.
leash for the
No,
Uber.
no.
Because Uber is
Because in the first
unleashed.
place, Uber has to pay, has to let go and let us make money too. We want Uber to make money, yes, because if they don't, we don't.
We don't, exactly.
But we need to make the money. We don't need to be regulated again. I mean, we're regulated up our you-know-what.
Well, I don't
We
mean
pay-
the drivers. I mean the fares, the rates.
The
Well,
regulated at a fair
Just the
rate.
airport, we pay $385 each time we come into the airport.
But that's
Guess
a
what?
that's a pass-through fee, correct?
Guess what? That's what TCP license. That's what they pay. Yes. A black limo, they'll pay $385.
So let me ask you. So you
We
guys
pay that
don't
each
really
time
want
we go to the
city and
airport.
state and local government involved. You want to resolve this. You
Ourselves.
want to maintain Uber drivers. You
Yes.
enjoy your job.
Yes.
Correct.
And you think that it could be viable whether you're a part-time driver, full-time driver. You just want your fair share
We
of
want
your
to sit down
experience
and
as
talk,
a driver.
Travis.
And you want to negotiate.
We want to sit down and talk peacefully. Businessman to businessman. Some of us here own our own businesses. Some of them are just drivers. Some of them we're family members. We're brothers. We're sisters. We're aunts. We want to sit down and talk,
And then
civilize,
Travis,
so
exactly.
that we're both happy. Uber is happy. Uber drivers are happy.
Exactly, and
And
Travis,
we can
one
move
more
on.
thing to
And
CEO,
riders.
Uber CEO, Travis. Your drivers just know one thing, common sense, very simple. Your drivers, this right here, what you see, is the backbone of your company. This is your
We
backbone.
made you
No
$50.
backbone, you can't stand it straight. Treat us right, treat us better, and you will stand us straight. Otherwise, you'll just go down, I'm telling you. This is the beginning of a revolution,
So
believe
do
it or
you
not.
do you think Uber as a corporation, based on what they're doing, fare cuts and some of their behavior, do you think they are in jeopardy? as a business model?
In every sense, not as a business model. I would in every sense.
I've been driving for 3 years for Uber. Since we start driving for Uber, we only pay 5% of commission, and it's the time was $8 for minimum.
Yeah.
Now
Well, I've been driving
Uber.
as well. I gotta
Yes.
say that 5% was temporary,
Yes.
and it was promotional.
Yes.
The true was 20%. Just so you guys
No,
know.
I don't pay 20%.
Well,
5%
you
and
came-
15%.
you came on
after
at 5, yeah.
15%, not 20%.
Right, right.
And what happened?
I mean, before
spoke
that,
with
it was
the Uber.
20%.
I spoke with the Uber person last
Yeah.
Friday before the change happened. This price. And they told me they're gonna reduce the price and you're gonna make more money. I said, how come I'm gonna make more money? If you lower the price, you have to lower the commission.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how
Just do it 5% or 10%.
Don't get us wrong. We all love Uber. That's why we're all here, right? Uber's a beautiful job. You can pick your own hours. You know what I mean? We all have kids, but all we want is fair wages. You know what I mean? We want to be treated.
We're making
That's what we
less
want.
than minimum wage now.
Yes.
We spend so much mileage, so much gas, and
Maintenance.
and the plan is.
I mean, imagine I do an oil change once a month. I put 1,000 miles in my car, brand new 2014 brand new car, 1,000 miles a week. I'm driving in San Francisco. I hit 15 potholes every 2 minutes. I hear every inch of my car. I'm destroying my car for Uber, and Uber's taking advantage of me. This is unfair.
So you can't earn enough money to cover your expenses.
Yeah.
So let me ask you. So by the time you do the numbers, what do you guys? I mean, just give me a number each. After you crunch your numbers, maintenance, insurance, your personal insurance, gas, what are you coming out per hour?
I would just
in your
be
experience?
nice. I would just
Less than $10.
I would just be nice. Probably $5 an hour.
Yes, $5.
Even less.
After the Uber cuts, after all
Everything.
your
By the
expenses.
time I deduct my gas, my mileage, depreciation of my car, all that together, I don't know how much I'm taking home. I don't even know.
So some of the ads that say earn up to 30, earn up to 23, those are kind of gross. Is that a gross number?
This is a joke from Uber side.
Uber side, yes.
Uber side joke. How come we make $30? We make only $5 an hour.
Or even less.
Less. Sometimes you don't make any.
We are here 1 hour waiting for request, and then we got a call for the
But I'm San Francisco, and I've got to go home to Mountain View.
Hold on.
I'm driving back empty.
Go ahead, sorry.
Go ahead.
$30 an hour is loaded mile. But I'm going to drive twice that far, twice that long, to get back home again.
Exactly.
So it cuts down your
It's
time.
all loss.
It
Loss
cuts
after
my
loss
per
after
hour
loss after
rate.
loss.
But just in general, based on your expenses, your overheads, and all your costs, and some of your liabilities. I mean, being out there, you get tickets, I would imagine. Accidents, sometimes you got. Even if you're covered on this, if you're covered on the Uber insurance, there's a $1,000 deductible in some cases,
Exactly.
which can be 5 times higher than your own personal insurance
Exactly.
And the
deductible.
premiums on the insurance are twice as much as if we didn't have the Uber.
And here's another thing.
Now, has anybody lost their personal insurance because they've been caught being an Uber or a TNC driver?
Absolutely.
Everybody,
Everyone.
Has anybody lost their personal
And
insurance?
here's
We
another
don't
thing.
have personal insurance anymore.
And here's
don't?
another thing.
we get
We have
right.
to get insurance that's going to cover the Uber. While
Oh,
we have
well, you
the-
mean the insurance gap? Right. But most drivers don't have the insurance gap.
Exactly. But
It's an
here's the
additional
thing.
expense.
You know, when the time you receive a request from Uber's passengers, by the time you accept it and you're on your way picking up the passenger, you're not covered by your own insurance and by Uber.
Yeah, you have to have the gap.
Even though it's a passenger it's Uber's passenger, I accepted it. I'm on the clock with Uber. I'm working for Uber. So the moment that you guys are driving from your spot to pick up a passenger, you're not covered. If you get into an accident during that minute, those minutes, you're not covered. Your insurance is not going to cover you, and Uber's not going to cover you. So Uber wants you to get the third-party insurance, which is also through Uber.
This is
You know what I mean?
13 hours
So you
work.
got to have 3 insurance to go pick up a
This
customer.
is 13-hour works.
Just take a look at that.
13 hours work.
13 hours of work.
Yes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's how I made.
160. Is that your net fare?
Yes.
But it doesn't include your expenses or gas.
Not
correct?
yet.
Let me show you.
That's 13 hours.
See how
So
much?
now, when you do the math, just on that gross,
How much is
13
after-
divided by 160? Was that about $10 an hour?
I don't know.
See,
Maybe
how-
like $5 an hour.
And then you have to add gas. And
Let me see.
After the gas
How much
and
is
everything,
after?
everything.
189 we are making. See, this is funny. $1.89 per one customer.
Is that one ride? $1.80?
Just
Is that-
one ride, yeah.
Is that
One
Uber?
ride, yeah,
Is that
Uber.
Uber Pool or Uber X?
That's Uber pool. I got a two. See?
So
Two-
what was the total for
what-
that Uber Pool?
That should be like that show me like $11 something, but after everything I got this is two.
$4.40 for an Uber Pool
And then
ride.
$189.
So about $6 for an Uber Pool ride. Well, how long was that ride? It must have been 2 blocks.
10-12 minutes.
10, 12-minute ride.
See, I spend my gas, I spend my hour,
Look at
I
that.
spend my car.
13 miles, $6. 13 miles, 22 miles, 22 minutes and $6. How it does work? $7.
It was
13
like
miles.
932 baht after everything after the gross.
20, so you drove 22 minutes.
22 minutes.
13 miles, $6.
Yeah,
$7.
22 minutes and 13.8 miles after everything's like 699. This is not fair, you see?
How it does work?
That's bullshit.
It's 22 minutes.
I have to be frankly honest with you. I drive and I'm a little confused.
No, that's right. It's cheating.
I don't think I
we used to make good money. We used to make,
That's the reality there. You work, you bust your ass there.
So once again, this
You don't see your family.
there's a lot of hype about how much you can make as a rideshare driver, especially today. Another fare cut just January 9th, and it's made that even more difficult.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Guys, I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It'll be
so
on the,
much.
yeah. Thank you so much for
We
your
wish
time. I
for
appreciate
change.
it.
That's what we wish. We wish
And
just for
I
that
hope that
change.
everything can be resolved
Yep.
for you, the families, the riders, and of course Uber as a company as well.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We're not here to harm. We're here to fix things.
You
As
know,
simple
you
as
see,
that.
everybody here are loyal to the company, but we need just
We need
the
that.
fare.
Right now,
We
we
need
can
Uber
just
to be
turn
loyal
on a
to
Lyft
us too, though.
application and go work
Yes.
for Lyft. But why?
Yeah.
Why we're standing here?
Yes.
Because we're loyal.
Actually, most
we expect
riders
the
are
same
happy
thing.
to
It's a
be
mutual
with you.
respect.
Saeed.
Mutual respect.
I definitely respect your loyalty and your willingness to come out here and to express yourself. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, this is Mike Dean for the Rideshare Report. Folks, there you have it. You've got drivers coming together right here at the TNC airport. I got to tell you, this lot holds about at least 140 to 180 vehicles. You've got a ton of drivers behind me who have turned off the app, who are asking to come to a table with Uber and or Travis and or some top management so they can have a one-on-one discussion with regards to how the fares have affected their earnings and how they're not making more money since they've started, or they're making less when the fares go down. And for the most part, they're upset and they're fed up and they want change. So I'm going to be following these guys in the days to come and keeping you guys posted. Thank you for joining me. This is Mike Dean with the Rideshare Report, and I'll be talking to you real soon. Take care. Drive safe.